Welcome back, Warriors, to another Battlefield 2042 video. I'm your commanding officer, Major Doodleman149, and in today's briefing we'll be going over the first ever official communication from HQ regarding the future of this operation. Let me tell you now, soldiers, this is not good news. In fact, this is terrible news, except for one small personal silver lining. DICE and EA have decided to push back the first advancement into new battlefields until the summer of this year. No longer are we looking at a March deployment to these still unknown fronts, but HQ and higher ranking officers here on YouTube think this is acceptable. I'm here to tell you all why the fuck it isn't. In case you'd missed it, this past week Battlefield tweeted this. They state here that because of basically how poorly they've handled this deployment, we will be stuck with the weapons and battlefronts we've had since our initial deployment in November. We won't be receiving any new hardware or fighting over new lands until the early summer. This puts the first expansion of this conflict at least an entire 7 months since the launch. This is unacceptable. But wait, there's more. They acknowledge that they've handled this conflict like a bunch of first-year officers. We can't communicate with our squad mates unless we have peripheral third-party kit to speak with literally anyone. They're addressing this by adding in voice communication and a player profile. They're also improving the piss-poor ping system in our suit, so we'll have to see how well that goes. Apparently, there'll also be increased rewards for playing as a squad. And lastly, they need to work very hard and put in many long hours into putting a goddamn statistics screen in our HUDs to see how we compare to our fellow soldiers. All this is being touted as new features for the conflict when every damn conflict prior to this one had these basic features. While I am happy this conflict will hopefully be handled better, it's fucking infuriating that it took them this long to do any of this. Where did all of our enlistment fees go? Well, probably to hookers and coke down in South America. That or covering up the sexual assault allegations the brass is receiving. Either way, fuck off! We didn't enlist to help your sorry asses out. Give us what we enlisted for. Oh, but don't worry, recruits. Our benevolent overlords at HQ have deemed us worthy of some compensation for these delays and time wasted in these fields of battle. They're offering up the Steadfast exclusive legendary bundle. This has a new uniform for McKay, a new paint job for the K30 revolver and the Bolt. We'll also have access to a new shiny knife and some new pictures to hang on our barracks walls. But wait, what is this? If you look at the fine print, troops, you'll see that only the people who enlisted under gold or ultimate standards will receive this. While I'll be getting these ridiculous cosmetics, apparently for the rest of you, HQ is telling you to go fuck yourselves. They don't care about you. They need to be court-martialed. Now, what could be a bigger problem than DICE and EA up at HQ blatantly flipping us the bird? It's the soldiers and officers who agree with this move and use it as an excuse to support the previous handling of this operation. How many soldiers out there needed to die before the brass could figure out that none of us wanted to be here given how they've handled things? I was happy to get into the field back in the last war with China and Russia, but here, I'm just in it to earn attachments for killing hostiles and getting war footage to make these briefings for all of you. We can't support the brass in this move. We honestly can't support the brass in anything. For those of you who have already given them your enlistment fees like myself, that money is gone. What we can do in the future is not purchase anything from the on-base store that will certainly be implemented at the launch of our first expansion in the summer. So what can we conclude from all this news from the brass? Well, soldiers, we can expect weapons to feel different as they begin to tweak them over the next few months. I'm certain this will lead to more harm than good for over a year. We can also safely assume, given their track record this year, that the brass will not get these fixes done in time, and our further expansion in this conflict will get delayed even further. Either that, or the fronts we're expanding into will be limited or unimpressive because they had to shift so much capital to fixing the logistical and technical issues they sent us into the field with. Until I see differently, I wouldn't believe anything DICE says. This roadmap won't be accurate, and I wouldn't be surprised if the number of actively deployed combatants drops even further than it already has. Keep it up, DICE and EA. You're fucking over your troops, and you'll be left with nothing but the filler flash clones on your battlefield. So that is all, Warriors. This is all we currently know about the future plans for this conflict. If you couldn't tell from my tone, none of this is good. Yes, technical and logistical issues should be remedied in fairly short order, so long as the brass isn't lying out their asses again. Yes, I'll get a pathetically insufficient cosmetic pack because I have the gold edition, but that isn't enough. I'm sure the first expansion will be delayed and we'll be stuck fighting over the same 7 battlefields for a long time to come. How do you all feel about this news? Do you look at it from a different angle than I do? Permission to speak freely in the comments is granted. And so if you felt your CEO has done an adequate job today in this briefing, then please hit that thumbs up and subscribe button in the bottom right corner of your HUD to never miss out on more of my coverage of Battlefield 2042. And with that, I've been your CO, Major Doodleman149, and until our next briefing, you are all dismissed!